Well, it has been a very rough journey, I must confess. It wasn't an easy journey because, we came in to change the narratives. We came in to change the system, how things have been done in the downstream. But this is not America. America, when Amazon lands, when they landed, others, they actually re-strategize and they remain in business. But in Nigeria, it's not so, because you have people who are used to rent collection. And so almost we're getting fight all over. We're getting fight from people that they believe we have removed food from their table. But based on us, it's not that we remove food from their table, it's just that we made our country and our continent very proud. Because all the countries in Africa, they import petroleum products. Two before were not importing, but right now they've joined the queue, they are importing. All the refineries in South Africa, only one, they've actually destroyed them. They are not, because what they do, they use the international traders, the local marketers and co. They all connive to suffocate any refinery. If I can maybe just remind you, you can see that today, the real fight that Trump is fighting India, he has no issues with India. In fact, he was very close to, Modi. But his main fight is about the crude oil of Russia going to India. Because that's the same crude, because that crude is being pegged at 45. So when they refine it, they make a lot of money, and they will take it and look for home for that refined product and go and dump. And most likely, things are not very clear to you, because the issue is that you should also investigate how much this same gasoline, which is PMS, selling in our neighboring countries, is double. So why is Nigeria very low? Thank you. So Nigeria is very low, and what are we doing? People don't know that, yes, we're actually sacrificing a lot, because the crude we're buying, we're not allowed, the crude for Naira, we're not allowed to sell it. We're only to process it and supply it to Nigeria. And at a time when Mele was there, they were even jacking premium. We have even paid up to $6 premium to Brent, when the Russian one is selling at 20. Okay, so how do you compete with that? That's one. Number two, the infrastructure there is already, it was done, built by government. Our own infrastructure here, we have power here which is almost 500 megawatts of power, because that's part of the infrastructure. We have the government, they've been very magnanimous. They allowed us to build the 10 lanes road, which will subtract and take that away from our tax for a 3 years period. And we must be very thankful to His Excellency, Mr. President, for allowing that, because the roads that we have around here, there are quite a lot of roads. So, I mean, this place has the most infrastructure in the country. So really, we must actually, thank Mr. President for, doing that. So when you look at all these things, you look at now, we are paying high premium, okay, the Naira crude, because we are not allowed to sell it. We are allowed to only process and sell it domestically. And somebody is bringing this thing from Reliance and Co. in India to take it to Lomé. And when they even go to Lomé, despite the cheapness of that, they now actually blend it and put chemicals. But because we're normally consuming as fast as there's no reserve, no reservoir in the country. Only here we have reserves because we have at any point 500 million liters. So with that, if we're actually going to keep it as reserve, you see that it will actually caked. So they bring that one. When they bring that one, what happens is that they will dump it in our own market. Today, I'm sure some of you are in investigative journalism. You can ask, and you can quote me. The 85% of the fuel, petrol going to Republic of Benin is from the informal sector. 85%. So when you say that 85% of the Republic of Benin's oil, petrol, is from the informal sector, what does that mean? Now it's coming from Nigeria. Well, that's the only there is no any body that will go anywhere to import. So that's still smuggling. And I can understand why sometimes people will now fight what we are doing. So these are the drawbacks that we face during this period. But we went ahead. And one of the issues that, okay, somebody say, but we sometimes even export a little bit cheaper than the cost that we sell for domestic market. That's not so, because when we were getting suffocated, you sell as crude, you charge as premium, which is still happening today, and then we compete with Russian product. And then the only way for us to keep that refinery going, we have to sell. And when we are going to sell, the same team, part of the mafia, they will now price us low. So we sell a bit low because we have to survive. That is what is happening. There's nothing. So do we have enough to supply the country? I am still insisting that yes, we do have enough to supply Nigeria. I don't believe there is a difference. Regulator is saying 50 million. Nobody can confirm it's 50 million. Even though 50 million too, even during COVID, when people were not moving, it was 50 million. And at a point, it was 93 million. We have shot up to 90. You've seen it in our own advert. So what is the way forward? What do you people expect next year? I believe by next year, all of us will have to sit down and resolve this issue and say, okay, fine, look, what is it? Because it does not make sense for us to do that. There's no country. If in fact, in Nigeria, people who even produce this water, they have a protection. Because if you don't have a protection, you'll be dead. The issue is that today, when you go and buy a camera in Japan, Nikon camera, I can tell you for nothing, call anybody that you know in our embassy to help you buy one. Give him a specification. That same camera, you'll find it cheaper in Alaba. Why? It's not smuggled or something. No, it's because that is how trade is. That's why Trump is applying duties. The whole thing about export is for you to export, you go and dump your goods in somebody's market, which means you go and make sure you discourage them from producing their own, which means you take jobs, you create jobs, and you export poverty in there and dump it. That is the real, issue. And what I keep saying, if the business is not good, because next year, our even capacity, I believe, will go up to 700,000 barrels, not 650. We are doing quite a lot of adjustment, changes, and code that I believe our capacity will go up. And based on what we have shown you before, we can produce even more. In fact, 58% of our capacity will be for export after satisfying Nigeria. But all what we are saying is that, okay, fine, let us now go. Because it was consistent supply to the market. We will now know, yes. Because if you look at it now, from just the last 3 months, we have exported almost 1.8 or so billion liters. We have exported 1.3 million tons of various, no, of just gasoline, 1.1, about 1.2. Yes, 1.2 million tons. So you do that times 1.341. It will give you the number of this, you know, I mean, say you can calculate, I will tell them. So if the market is there, why are we exporting? Okay, because there's no need for export. Nobody, and I had also over somebody, a spokesman of DAPMAN, which even though I don't want to say anything about DAPMAN today, but he's the spokesman today on Arise. He was talking about, no, we actually don't have capacity, or we don't have this. We have the capacity. He said that, no, if we don't have the capacity, then why are we exporting? Because the dumping process is massive. It's not small. It's the same way they use in killing textiles that they want to use in killing us. And you ask yourself a question now. Most of these trading companies, I don't want to quote a name, majority of them, if you look at it, in the last 23 years, they were not even existing. And you go back and check, right from Gabon's government, they had that crisis. 31st of March 1975, the government had to launch a budget to make sure that they eliminate fuel queues in 1975. And some of us here were not born at that time. 1975. Because 1975 to now is what, 50 years. So we've been battling with fuel queues for 50 years. I think even for us to eradicate fuel queues, we should be actually celebrated. Because we have taken away fuel queues. We've taken away $1 billion of yearly demurrage, of which last 10 years we must have paid $10 billion in demurrage alone. Okay? And majority of those ships, and I repeat, majority of those ships, when they come, they don't discharge all. Because who is going to check? The person checking, he's collecting 100,000 naira salary. So it's easy for him to collect an envelope of $10,000 and sign of whatever document you give him. Majority of those ships, when they come, they don't discharge all. They discharge and just carry the rest. They go and recycle it. So that is a discussion also for another day. But all what I'm saying is that we need to be very careful here so that you don't even create. In fact, the current thinking about some people in the industry is what will even create a total monopoly. Because I'll give you an example. When we started sugar, we were the only ones in Nigeria for 11 years that we had sugar. We didn't stop anybody from doing sugar. And then Bua went ahead and came in, set up his own, and joined us. Later on, Flour Mills of Nigeria went ahead and set up. Now, when you go back and you think about it, in there, say maybe 2000, what I could only think about and I can say, okay, I can afford, was a cement terminal. Okay, a cement terminal, that is to import from, we're importing from Indonesia, from Taiwan, from all over the world. And we're importing, Nigeria was number 2 in imports in the world. And President then Obasanjo said, no, please, Aliko, can you come and see me? I went there early morning, you know, he wanted to see me at 6 a.m. I said, no, sir, I'm in Lagos. Give me up to 8 in the morning. I will fly and come and meet you. At 8 o'clock, I was there at the villa. I said, okay, Aliko, remove your Dangote cap, put Nigeria's cap. Let's talk. Which I did. And he said, okay, how do we stop this import, because this import is disturbing me. And as a president, I cannot sit down and see that we are just bombarding Nigeria with imports of cement. We need it, but we have all the ingredients of producing cement. We have the limestone, we have the clay, we have everything. So what do we do? I say, sir, the only way for you to do something, because it is more profitable for us to import. To produce is more difficult. And you know, because we have what? We have a trading mentality. When you have a trading mentality, it's different than an industrial mentality. And trading is not really something that anybody can be proud of, because tomorrow I can decide and pack up that I'm not doing. But when you set up an industry, you can nobody will set up an industry with 100% of his money. So there are stakeholders you are owing money to. So you have to keep that business going. For you now, you know, banks will be happy, you know, so it will be a circular economy. Everybody will be happy, suppliers, everybody. So going back to cement, that is how Obasanjo now said, okay, fine, go and do it. And in the cement, we are the only ones that believe in the policy. So when we went at first cement plant, when we attempted in 2000, February also, we bought Benue. Benue people say, no, over their dead body, they will not allow us, because this company must be sold to white people. Because all the other ones were bought by foreign firms. But this one now, they don't agree. So we fought for 46 months. We left that Benue as we were fighting. We went and put up Obajana, 5 million tons. Even our bankers were scared. Now, fast forward, we finished Obajana. We commissioned Obajana. We went on, and from Obajana, we now went to Igbeshi. From Igbeshi, we now went to this thing. Okay, but we've done that. Boa now, as we speak, he has almost 18 million tons. Lafarge, that when we were, you know, when we launched Obajana, they had less than 1.2 million tons of production. They are at almost 12 million today. And there's a newcomer that came in this year, Mangal. So you can see, if not that it was profitable to do so, there would have been only one Dangote doing cement. So I will take you to where I'm, you know, what I'm trying to say. So now when you look at it, there's nothing like, okay, fine, you're the monopoly. Somebody will say, okay, fine, there's no benefit. Today, Nigeria will, from next year, will be earning almost $500 million from export of what? Cement. Because we believe that foreign exchange issue with inflation and co in any African economy, you have to watch it as an investor. So now if you keep talking about, no, let's not make this, okay, we have already escaped, because we already have a refinery, we have delivered our own. So if there is no support, that these people say that, no, we must not make good money. Okay, fine, if we don't make good money, nobody will enter the business now. And then you end up with only one supplier, because NNPC's refineries can never ever compete, because the market here is gasoline market. And when we produce for any barrel, we have 54% of gasoline. NNPC today, if they try, they will achieve 18. They will produce low fuel oil, they will produce all this, which is not needed today. So it will be a loss. The more they operate, the more money they lose. If they don't produce anything, they are paying salaries, pension gratuity is increasing every day. Because if they don't get rid of them, they will keep sinking in problems. So the best option that I believe, if people now really want this market to open, is to encourage, not only us, is to encourage everybody. We did not stop anybody. There are over 30 licenses that were issued. So those people who are making noise, they should also go and put up plants. When they put up plants, then Nigeria will become the biggest hub. Even though now, Nigeria is the biggest hub, majority of Europe's supply and US of aviation fuel, we supply, because we produce a lot of it. With, the gasoline that I was telling you earlier, we actually, between June, July, August, and part of this September, we have actually exported 1.6 billion liters. Almost, 1.6, 1.8. That is up to this. And this month too, we have more to sell because they are busy importing. So I think it's something that which I think we are not the ones to address the issue, and government is actually going to address the issue. They are looking at it. They are going to address the issue, because it's not. It's not about we don't want to also be a monopoly. We want other players in the business, but other players in the business, you cannot come to a soccer field and you want to play cricket. You want somebody. So if they want to play, let them come and play soccer, so that we know that it's the same rules of the game, everything. But the other players, they want to play cricket, and cricket, really, when you hit the ball, you can hit somebody on the head. So that's this. I hope I've answered your question. But